Hi, today I am making Cowgirl's hummus, kind of a play on cowboy caviar and my favorite, which is hummus. So I'm going to start with hummus. And so you may have seen my other videos using hummus. I don't use any oil. A lot of people put olive oil in their hummus, but I don't. So I have 2 cans of organic garbanzo beans, and you could definitely cook your own from dried. Make sure you soak them. Make sure you always buy organic because they do spray them. I've heard that they even spray them when they are organic, but we're going to assume these are safe. So I have 2 cans of garbanzo beans here. And did you see that? I saved the aquafaba. That's the juice from the can. If you cook it, save that. We're going to use that. It makes it really creamy. And then the next thing I'm going to do is add some garlic. Now I need garlic for the cowboy caviar and for the hummus, and so I'm going to go ahead and press. I have 3 garlic cloves here. I'm going to press them because garlic has an enzyme called allicin that forms when you crush it, and that is very antimicrobial, antibacterial. It is just a wonderful natural medicine in the garlic. And so I'm just going to let this sit for a minute while I put the rest of the ingredients in our hummus. So right now I'm just going to peel it and let it sit here. All right, I'm also going to be adding lemon. So I have a lemon. This is a huge lemon. It's probably equivalent of 2. I'm going to cut it, because it's so big, I'm going to have to cut it into 4ths. And I love this juicer. So lemon is very high in vitamin C. It's also wonderful to help with liver health. A lot of people like to have lemon water in the morning because even though we think of it as being acidic, it's very alkaline to our bodies. Alright, so now I'm going to add some tahini. And I'm going to add, so tahini, if you're not familiar, is ground sesame seeds. And sesame seeds are very high in calcium, but they also give hummus its distinct flavor. And I just think it's delicious. That's nice. Alright, it's very creamy, very high in vitamin E. Which is a fat-soluble vitamin that it's very difficult for some of us to get if you're not eating nuts and seeds. So if you do like sesame seeds, you do like tahini, this is a great way to get some vitamin E. All right, now I'm going to add our garlic. Remember, only 1 clove for this. Actually, I'll do two cloves. 2 cloves for the hummus, 1 clove for our black-eyed peas. So I'm just running my knife through them. I'm going to do all of them. And then just go back and forth. Okay, so I'm saving 1/3 of this for our black-eyed peas. And the rest is going into our hummus. Into our food processor. Alright, now I need to add a little bit of salt. Some people add liquid aminos instead of salt, whatever you want. Some people add a little bit of vinegar. Vinegar can give it a salty flavor too. So I'm going to do about a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And then I want some chipotle flavor because I want this to be kind of spicy. So I'm going to put about 1/4 teaspoon of chipotle powder, which is very smoky and gives it a nice heat. Now, before I add any of my aquafaba, I'm going to turn it on and see how creamy it is. Depends on how big your lemon was. If your lemon was really big, you might not need to add any. Okay, so I want you to be able to see it. You can see it's really thick. I need it to be a little bit thinner, a little creamier. And so this is where some people add olive oil, but I'm just going to add the aquafaba instead. So hummus is very high in protein. It does have carbohydrates from the beans. Beans are very high in carbohydrates and protein. But also very high in fiber and in your B vitamins. They're a very healthy choice if you can tolerate beans. If you can't tolerate beans, then you could always use some zucchini or even some cauliflower and blend it up. It might not get quite as creamy, but that is an option if you don't eat beans. I can't wait to eat this. Okay, so now here's our hummus, and you could just eat it just like that, right? But we're going to make it Cowgirl party hummus, so I'm going to move that to the side. And we're going to start with black-eyed peas. So I just cooked some. These are actually pink-eyed purple hulls. That's what we grow here in the South. Also black-eyed peas. They look just like black-eyed peas. So this is about 2 to 3 cups. You don't have to be exact. You know me, I don't really measure. So I'm going to strain these into my bowl. Okay, so we have about 2 to 3 cups of cooked black-eyed peas. I'm going to add that other clove of garlic. And then I want to add some cucumber. Now my cucumbers are huge, so I'm going to chop it into kind of thick slices. And then I'm going to stack it and cut it into thirds. And then again. Now depending on what kind of cucumber you have, if it's not this kind, this is a Sulong cucumber that we grow. It's like an heirloom. It's delicious. But if you have a regular, like pickling cucumber, another cucumber, you can always just cut the seeds out and even cut it into lengths. Like, let me see if I can do it. So a third, and then I can cut this way. And then cut it into thirds again and line them up. Let me see if I can do this one. So we end up with chunks. If I line up all my little strips, I can go along and I end up with kind of chunky cucumber. So this cucumber is huge. I would do about a half of a cucumber. And I have a lot more too. Throw it all in. All right, so then I'm going to add a tomato. I'm going to add 2 tomatoes actually. So half a cucumber, 2 tomatoes, 2 cups of black-eyed peas, or 3. My knife's not sharp enough. You can see it's squishing my tomato. So tomatoes are very high in vitamin C, which our body needs, especially if you're under stress. The adrenals use more vitamin C per size than any other organ in your body. So if you've been under a lot of stress, then we know you need vitamin C. Vitamin C is so important for so many body processes, and fresh tomatoes is a great way to get that. Alright, so I have one here, and I'm going to add, I have another one on this plate here. If I can move my stuff. I put everything in my way, didn't I? Tomatoes and cucumbers. I'm going to need a bigger bowl. Alright, so now I'm going to add some bell pepper. I picked yellow so that I have more colors. We want all the different colors of the rainbow if we can. So this is a yellow bell pepper. Some people put banana peppers in here. You could do that. That'd give it a nice tang. That would actually be really good. And so I cut around the seeds. I didn't show you what I did. I cut around the seeds, and now I'm going to cut it into strips. And then just like with the cucumber, I'm going to line it up and cut it into cubes. Okay, I think I'm going to have to upgrade to a bigger bowl. My bowl is not big enough. Okay, next I'm going to add a jalapeno. So when I cut a jalapeno, the seeds are usually really hot. And so if you're going to be serving this to a party, a group of people that maybe they don't want the spiciness of those seeds, then I cut around it. And so I lay it down and I just cut a small piece off. Can you see how thick that was? And then I can see inside of it, and I cut another side off, and then another side off, and then another side off. And then the seeds are still intact inside, and I'm left with these pieces here. So it's not quite as spicy. We have somebody coming over that may not even taste it if he knows there's jalapeno in there, so I'm going to keep it mild. Alright, just like the yellow bell pepper, I cut it into strips, and now I'm going to cut it into little chunks. Throw in the jalapeno. Next, I'm going to add the juice of 2 limes. Here we go. This is so packed with vitamin C. It's got the cucumber, which is very nutritious. We don't think of cucumbers as being nutritious, but also very hydrating, which is really hot today. 4th of July is always really hot, right? And so here we go. I'm going to add the juice of 2 limes. Okay, I took a bite. It's delicious. If your black-eyed peas aren't salted, you may want to add a little bit of salt. I would use a sea salt, not a processed white salt. Look at how pretty that is. So you could just have the Cowgirl caviar, but we're going to make this really festive. I move everything out of my way here so you can see. I have these chopped vegetables. I actually saw this. I think it was Chef Julia had something similar. That's how I got the idea. She inspired me. So I'm going to spoon this on top. Can't wait to eat this. Alright, and then I can decorate it. Put in some cucumber slices and some carrot slices. I like cutting it on the bias because then it's better for dipping. It's beautiful. I'm so excited. Tomatoes. Won't these be fabulous with this? A little bit harder to eat. And some celery. So we have like our crudité. We have our hummus. We have our Cowgirl caviar. If you wanted a little bit tangier, you could add some apple cider vinegar. My limes were just perfect. They were nice and juicy, and so I didn't need to add that. Alright. I'm trying to figure out how to balance out my colors. Doesn't matter, does it? It doesn't matter. You can always go to Chef Julia's page and see how she did hers. It's beautiful. I don't know what was in hers, but it had cucumbers all around, so like a flower. Alright, so here is our Cowgirl hummus, our festive Cowgirl hummus. Isn't it beautiful? Anyway, I hope you make this video. I hope you're having a fabulous 4th of July. If you like this video, please let me know. I love to hear from you. So hit like, subscribe to my channel, and then I want to hear from you. Anyway, I hope you make this. Enjoy!